Hey, it's Shane with GotRom.com. This video is about 3 tips to help with hip flexor pain. So I get a lot of emails from people complaining about a pain right in the front of the hip crease. Maybe it's a hip flexor strain, maybe it's something to do with femoral acetabular impingement, but they're having some kind of pain right here and they want to know a couple ideas for what they can do about that. So the first thing is the opposite of what most people do, which is they immediately go and stretch the muscle. So let's stop and think about this for a minute. If you almost over pull the muscle, would you then want to stretch it and pull it farther? No, that's a bad idea. So instead, what I recommend is doing tissue work downstream of the pull, the strain, the pain. So that means softening up the quad muscles. So there's different ways of doing that. I have one video that I'll link to where you sit on the ground and you lay a barbell across your lap and you use the weight of the barbell pressing down on your quads. And this is a really great way of softening up rectus femoris and all these big meaty quad tissues. So that's a really excellent way of working on the quads. My other favorite way is to use the Point Quadballer Tool. And how you would use that is you would, just like foam rolling, you would put it on the ground, put it on your quads, and slowly steamroll up and down until you find a trigger point. When you find a trigger point, what you want to do is stop, take a big breath, and then relax and become dead weight. Most people who try the quad baller and they say, oh, it's not that intense, are actually not fully relaxing. They're just kind of going, they're tense and they're holding up, they're kind of keeping the pressure off of them. But if I tell them, relax and drop and become dead weight, it becomes a whole lot more intense and therefore a whole lot more effective. So work on the quads with either the barbell, or if you have a foam roller, great. Or if you have this tool, I really like this one, the quad baller. So work from the entire area just above the kneecap all the way up to just below where you're getting that hip flexor pain. And what you'll probably find is when you kind of really free up all of this layered tissue that's sort of matted together, stuck together, you'll find that that helps the pain. The other thing that you're going to do, if you're not going to be stretching it, is you can strengthen it. So some basic ways of doing that are isometric hip flexion. So you can bring your hip up to this angle, and then I'm going to push against my own resistance. So I take a big breath, brace my core, push against myself for say 5-10 seconds, and then release. And you could repeat that 3 to 5 times. What that's going to do is it's going to strengthen the muscle in a shortened position, and that will help it to repair from any kind of overstrain that happened. Now, one caveat about that is if you just pulled your hip flexor, probably you just need to rest. You can rest and do tissue work and let it kind of remodel and recover. And then after a week or two, when it starts to feel a little bit better, then you can start slowly strengthening it. The next progression for strengthening the hip flexor muscles at the attachments up here would be a standing version. So what you do is you stand on up, you stand on one leg, you can pull your leg up, and then without bending this knee or leaning back, which are compensations, or rounding your back, you stay nice and tall and straight, and then you let go of this knee and just isometrically hold this up. And this is really, really going to force these muscles right here to work very, very hard and build some resilience. So knee up, toes up, legs straight, and hold it. And you can hold this for time. You can even start to add a little bit of resistance here, or you could add a little ankle weight or something to increase the intensity over time. The other thing that you can do to progress to more kind of game-like, sprint-like motions, which is often when people pull a hip flexor muscle, is sprinting. So we want to slowly work our way towards that again, is you can hook a cable or a band up to your ankle, and you can kind of practice strengthening the hip flexors in this kind of motion with a weight attached to your ankle. So those are a couple ideas for what to do if you've strained a hip flexor, if you're getting front hip pain. Don't stretch it, massage it, and then strengthen it, and I think that your recovery will be a lot better. So give it a shot. Let me know in the comments which of those exercises you found most helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, be cool, just move with the groove.